All right, so you're here because this whole Ikigai thing has caught your attention. But I get it. You're not just looking for a job title or some quick fix. You want something deeper.
Right.
Yeah.
You want that sense of purpose that's woven into your everyday life.
Exactly. Like it's not some separate thing you achieve. It's more like a way of being.
It is a way of being.
And we're going to really try to dig into that today using excerpts from a podcast episode about Ken Moege's book.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it breaks down Ikigai into these 5 pillars.
5 pillars, okay.
And the really cool thing about this approach is it's not about waiting for some massive life change or, some huge aha moment.
Right.
It's about finding those sparks of joy and fulfillment in those everyday moments.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions about Ikigai.
It is.
People think it's this big dramatic revelation like a lightning strike.
Totally.
When in reality, it's much more about cultivating a mindset, a way of approaching life that helps you savor those small but meaningful moments.
100%. So let's jump into the first pillar, which is starting small. Okay.
And honestly, I think this one is brilliant because it takes so much pressure off.
I agree.
Like one quote from the podcast that really stuck with me was, big things often have small beginnings. And it's like permission to ditch those grand, overwhelming plans that we all get caught up in.
Yeah, we get so focused on this end goal that we forget about the importance of those tiny steps along the way.
It's like those tiny steps are what actually get you there.
They are. And there's actually a concept that elite athletes use called the aggregation of marginal gains.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
you make these tiny, consistent improvements, and over time,
They add up.
they add up to something remarkable. It's the same principle with building towards your Ikigai.
It makes it feel so much more achievable, right?
Exactly. Instead of
Okay.
trying to climb this massive mountain,
One step at a time.
you focus on taking that one step at a time. And speaking of small steps,
Yeah.
the podcast had this great example about starting with just writing one sentence in a journal every day.
I love that example.
It seems almost too easy. Right?
But maybe that's the genius of it.
It is. You're not setting yourself up for failure with some huge commitment that you're never going to keep.
Right. It's about removing those mental barriers to entry.
Yeah.
One sentence. You can do that.
Yeah, anybody can do that.
And chances are, once you start, coals go out.
Momentum. right?
Exactly. Before you know it, journaling is a regular part of your life, and you've successfully cultivated a new positive habit.
Okay, so now this is where it gets really interesting for me. Releasing yourself.
Oh, this is a good one.
Letting go of needing constant validation.
It's tough, though.
It is. And the podcast quoted Oscar Wilde.
Oh, I love Oscar Wilde.
Be yourself. Everyone else is already taken.
So true.
But is it really that simple, though?
Right.
I mean, isn't some level of external validation kind of essential? Like, how do we balance that with staying true to ourselves?
That's such a great question, because you've
Yeah.
hit on something really important. That need for validation is deeply ingrained in us.
It is.
We're social creatures constantly seeking approval and acceptance.
Hmm.
But to really tap into your Ikigai,
You got to let go of that.
you have to learn to be your own source of validation, to find joy in expressing yourself authentically, even if it doesn't always get you a round of applause.
It's like two sides of the same coin.
It is.
It's not that external validation is bad. It's just that we can't let it dictate our actions or make us afraid to be ourselves.
Exactly. That fear of judgment can keep us from pursuing those things that light us up,
The things we're passionate about.
those things that could be crucial to our Ikigai. And the podcast gave the example of the person who loves to dance but feels self-conscious about it.
Oh, yeah, we all know someone like that.
We all have something like that, right?
Definitely.
This pillar is all about pushing past that fear and giving ourselves permission to shine, even if it feels a little awkward at first.
Even if it feels a little awkward at first. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to harmony and sustainability.
All right.
This one seems pretty straightforward. It's about balance, right?
It is. Finding that sweet spot between work-leisure relationships, all the different parts of our lives.
Yeah, like creating a life that feels sustainable. Something you can maintain over the long haul without burning out or neglecting important aspects of your well-being.
It's like the antidote to the whole hustle culture mentality,
Totally.
which can leave people feeling exhausted and unfulfilled.
Exactly. And it's not just about personal balance either.
Oh, right.
The podcast also talked about this really interesting cultural aspect. How in Japan, community harmony is a big part of this pillar.
Oh, interesting.
So it's not just about taking care of yourself, it's about contributing to a supportive and interconnected community.
That's a crucial distinction, I think.
Yeah.
Because our well-being is intrinsically linked to the well-being of the people around us.
It is.
And Ikigai reminds us that we don't exist in a vacuum
We don't.
and that our choices have ripple effects.
They do.
So this pillar encourages us to think bigger,
I like that.
to strive for balance and harmony, not just within ourselves, but within our communities as well.
And that's something we could all stand to be more mindful of. All right, this next pillar, the joy of little things. I just love the sound of that.
Me too. It's such a simple concept.
But so profound.
It is.
It's like a permission slip to just savor those everyday moments that we usually just rush right past.
It's so easy to get caught up in that chase for the next big thing. You know, that next milestone?
Yeah.
That you completely forget to appreciate the simple beauty of what's right in front of you.
You're so right.
And this pillar, it reminds us that happiness isn't some distant destination.
It's right here.
It's a collection of those small moments of joy sprinkled throughout our day.
And the podcast, they use such vivid descriptions to bring this idea to life.
Oh yeah, like what?
Like feeling the warmth of the sun on your skin, the smell of rain hitting dry pavement, that first sip of coffee in the morning.
Oh yeah.
And it's almost like they were trying to trigger those sensory memories for the listener, to make it feel more real, more tangible.
Because it's not just some fleeting feeling either.
Yeah.
There's a whole field of research on gratitude that shows how powerful it can be to intentionally appreciate those little things.
Wow.
Can actually shift your perspective, boost your mood, reduce stress, and even improve your physical health.
So it's like a happiness hack that's backed by science.
It is.
I love that. And it's something that anyone can do no matter what their circumstances are.
Mhm.
There's always something to be grateful for.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Even on the toughest days, there are those glimmers of joy, those tiny moments of beauty or connection.
They're always there.
It's just a matter of training yourself to notice them,
So true.
to shift your focus from what's missing to what's already present.
Okay, are you ready for the final pillar?
Hit me with it.
This one is being in the here and now,
Mindfulness.
all about mindfulness.
Yeah.
And the podcast really emphasized how crucial it is to be fully present in each moment instead of, getting lost in regrets about the past or worries about the future.
Yeah, our minds are always racing.
They are, and they even included a little exercise in the podcast.
Oh, right.
Close your eyes for 1 minute and just focus on your breath.
I love that.
It's so simple,
It is.
but it's so powerful.
It is.
And this pillar, it really gets to the heart of what Ikigai is all about.
I agree.
It's about truly experiencing life as it unfolds without all the mental clutter and distractions.
And mindfulness isn't just about relaxation, although that's certainly a nice side effect.
Right.
It's about cultivating a deeper awareness of yourself, your emotions, and the world around you.
It's like hitting the pause button on autopilot
It is.
and actually tuning in to what's happening in this moment.
Right.
And I can see how that could be a game changer when it comes to, making decisions or handling difficult emotions.
Absolutely. When you're more present, you're less likely to react impulsively or get swept away by those negative thoughts and feelings.
You have more control.
You do.
Yeah.
You can approach challenges with more clarity and composure. It's like you're creating space between the stimulus and your response,
Yeah.
which gives you more control over your actions and your overall well-being.
Yeah. So we've covered all 5 pillars of Ikigai. Starting small, releasing yourself harmony and sustainability, the joy of little things, and being in the here and now. As we've been going through this, what's resonated most with you?
I think what strikes me is how interconnected these pillars are.
Yeah.
They're not just isolated concepts. They work together to create a more fulfilling and meaningful life.
You do.
Starting small allows you to embrace yourself more fully.
Yeah.
That balance you create leads to more opportunities to find joy in those small things.
Right.
And being present allows you to savor those moments even more.
It's like a positive feedback loop.
Exactly.
I love that. And it all circles back to what you were initially curious about, right? Like you came to this deep dive wanting to understand Ikigai.
Yeah.
And you're not searching for some external thing, some magical answer.
No, not at all.
It's about cultivating this way of being, this mindset
Yeah, it's a way of life.
that helps you uncover meaning and joy in those everyday moments.
And it's an active choice, too.
Oh, definitely.
It's a conscious decision to actively seek out those sparks of fulfillment.
Instead of just waiting around.
Right. Instead of waiting for some big event or some achievement.
It's going to magically make you happy.
Yeah, I think we've all fallen into that trap.
We have. We've all been there.
But Ikigai, it's about taking ownership
It is.
of your own happiness.
Exactly. So you came to this deep dive looking for a deeper understanding of Ikigai.
Yeah.
And I think we've given you a pretty good toolkit to work with.
I think so, too.
But here's the real question. What are you going to do with it?
That's the key, right?
It is, because knowledge is only powerful when you put it into action.
It's true.
So now it's about taking these concepts, these 5 pillars,
Yeah.
and actually weaving them into your daily life.
Experiment. See what works for you.
Make it your own.
Exactly. It's not about rigidly following some set of rules.
Right.
It's about finding what resonates with you.
And making it work for your life.
Your own unique version of Ikigai.
I love that. So to help with that, we want to leave you with a little challenge.
I like that.
Something to really ponder.
Okay.
If you had to pick just one of these pillars to focus on for the next week,
Just one.
which would it be?
Ooh, good question.
Which one, if you really nailed it,
Yeah.
would make the biggest positive impact on your life right now? Write it down, put it on your calendar, commit to it. Who knows, you might just uncover your own unique path to Ikigai.
That's a great challenge.
Until next time, happy giving.